no one of us has seen a galaxy, or our galaxy. We know that the galaxy might look like this. We see the Milky Way from inside, but we don't know how our galaxy where we live really looks like. We have seen some galaxies on photos, on television, about some galaxy somewhere in the space, but we really don't know what it is. Well, we have very little idea. It's all in our imagination. There's another thing I would like to say. Galaxies are everywhere in the world. In a little water drop, we have a galaxy. We have the movement of a galaxy. I'm totally fascinated all my life when I look at little drops, and I would like to give this excitement to you and invite you also later to come a bit more close, very close, and to help. We have been trying to use some technical equipment also that was done last minute, and it was so great that we got all this equipment. He's not here. What's his name? Yeah, you did a lot of job for that, bringing that together. But there was someone who brought the. No, it was another guy. Yes, he brought all the equipment so that we have a camera now. We can see it in small. And I have to say we had no time to test it out. So it will be spontaneously. It might fail. And we heard today it's not bad if something fails, right? It's a learning process. So without any forward thinking, I would like to start first with some little slides and then really go to the experiments. Well, our blue planet, we know water is everywhere, within us, within any little drop. And the most interesting experience about water is if we go to a region where there's almost no water. I had the opportunity in my life to be in Central Sahara for quite a time, and I learned really by Tuareg people, very deep, also spiritual, what means water. If you don't have water, and if you have every day to pray and to search that you have enough water for the next day. Because what a Tuareg guy is actually doing when you walk with him, he's going through the desert and he's looking at the landscape, and then he's figuring out where might be water. And then we have to dig down, and then we have to collect maybe a little basket of water, a bucket of water, which is enough for us to have enough to drink and to cook and to do our things for next day. But you know, the environment are so smart. I have this picture. A little fly in the desert, in the morning dew, collecting overnight, just the dew on little legs or on little instruments he has to collect water. And that is the water what this animal needs to survive. I wish we would be so intelligent like these animals and live as humans. So the real recognition and learning of water is incredible if we have very little water. And I think this brings us very much to Auroville. As more we are in a challenge, as better we can be innovative, and as better we can actually develop something as a new way of going forward. And I think that's fascinating. Well, it's not only water. It is actually connected to our thinking, to our imagination, to our meditation, and also how our inner world relates to water. And I would like you to take you on a journey to go into this inner exercise about fluid thinking. And therefore I will start. I usually do this with drawings and then only meditation. We have not the time. I would love to have more time for that, but cannot do it, maybe another time. But this time, Anna-Shri, Bettina and I, we will just make some little experiments and we will just show them. So what I would guess or suggest, people from the very back behind, just come in front. You can put your chairs a little bit more here and just all come a little bit more close. And you will also see some of the experiments on the screen. So what we do first, we just let water run, not too much, just a little bit. You can just open it, you know, this one here, like that. I'm so happy that Anush could really help us because she had no chance to do this experiment. Now it's starting already. Now it is starting. You see the water is going straight down first, but now it is starting to make curves. It is starting to make left and right curves. Look how strong they are. And you can recognize rivers. You can recognize actually the life and the birth of a river system. And what I will do now is I just let it run. I will do, yes, it's good. Yeah, let this amount of water. Now, good. Can you see that here? How this is changing? Going further down. Curve is, this one is going further out. And now I will put a little bit color into it. Maybe you can already see that in the outer curve is running very fast, and there is a movement from one side to the other side. Now we have a wonderful oxbow, and what actually happens in nature is that a river always wants to be reformed, is changing permanently. We never have something static the same. It's also a vortex. It's actually also our galaxy. A galaxy is never something which is fixed. It is in a permanent process of change. But our consciousness is so we are so limited in our fantasy that we are limited in time to a second. We cannot imagine change process. And if you look at water, it's a very good teacher.
That's not consciousness, that's the mind.
That's the mind. Yes, that's the mind. Very good. So please correct me for some of my English words. But I love this now. Let it run. It's very good. We use this now because we can see sometimes very, very interesting forms. You can see you can see how this color is going to the other side. I can also try here because sometimes you have. Yeah, but it's very, very good to see that. I bring a little bit color in. Can you see it on a big scale also? Yeah? Very good. And I put just a little bit color here. And I let it go here. Look at this. The color is almost standing still here and going upstream. Now, this is something else. There is a lot happening in water what we actually almost don't know. Now it cuts through, which is also fine. Because water always is showing the secrets only for a certain moment. And then it's taking it away. We don't know something about water because it's totally invisible. We only see, when we look at water here, we only see the reflection behind or how water is cut. And what we see here, we don't see water. We don't see the speed which is happening. Only if I put some color into it, if I put some color, we see the movement. Otherwise, we don't see it. If we look at this planet, you know, water is so full of mystery. And a lot of these animals, wildlife knows about this mystery. For example, fish is always using these inner curves and then jumps to the next part. And that's how a trout can go upstream very easy with very little energy. There are lots of people who have been doing research on that. Schauberger, for example, or others, to work with the forces of sucking, not only pushing. So water has also this element. And now look, a perfect oxbow. Now, what the next thing would be, because it cannot do it here, but very often in nature, this oxbow would be a perfect, almost round circle. Water always tends to make totally spherical forms. For example, the dew in the morning, where there is, of course, gravity, but if you look at the dew, from the surface tension, it's a perfect ball. Or when there's water in a space shuttle, it is a perfect ball. It's a spherical form. Our planet is a spherical form because it's actually a fluid substance. Yeah. So and actually the river again likes to make a total curve, and then of course it cuts through, and that's why we have always this leftovers in rivers, which are these islands of oxbows. Yeah. Well, this is maybe just the first start. It could be much more I could explain, but I would just like to leave that. And it's very important, to look at landscapes also in this manner, that if you see what you see today, that there is a history. There was a totally different landscape before, and there might be a different landscape in the future. So it's a living system of a permanent change process. But our mind is so important that we have this kind of dimension. Yeah? And that we have always to have exercises. We have to do exercises to bring ourselves in this living world, in this living systems, and don't block us like a crystal stone, which is blocked like this. The living world is actually inviting us to think forward and to go over time and over space. And it's a different dimension what we need for that. And I think water can be a fantastic teacher. So I think we leave this, and I change with Anushree and Bettina to a next little experiment, and we use this here. What I will do is I just let a drop of water with a special color. This is calcium permanganate, which is a very strong color, but it's not poisoning, it's not dangerous, it's even quite okay. I let a drop fall in, and I will experiment with different heights of the drop. And it's also interesting if you just watch it. And Bettina, I don't know, can you get it sharp, or do you want to get a bit closer? Maybe you can even get with the whole equipment a little closer. And where the sewing is, so yeah, everything is that's fine. Und vielleicht hier auf die Stelle. Yeah, here is good. Yeah.
I'm sorry that there are these angles.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. If you put it maybe a little bit more here, yeah. So this can also get some light. It's also very good on the back side. Okay. So now a first drop. I hope I can do it. Now, have you seen that? Well, try to get it sharp. You have to make it manual, a little bit deeper. Here it comes. Yes, here it is. I do it one more time. It looks perfect from the top, actually. Okay, have a look here. You should have a look on the top, at least one.
Oh wow.
Okay, you will see it later. I will show you some pictures of that. Can you see it from the top?
Wow.
Good. Okay, now I'll let another drop fall in. Bettina, try to just keep it. Yeah, now look what's happening. There is a ring vortex. And when you look again from the top, you will see it. And what we might do, Bettina, if we do the next drop and we use the camera from the top so that people can see it. Because there's a certain way of height. And there's something special happening on any raindrop who's falling in water. It's not just splash, bang, that's it. Every drop is creating a story. Every drop is creating something full of life, full of forms, full of beauty. Every drop creates beauty on earth, in water. And it's so interesting to look at this, just a simple drop, how a simple drop behaves, and what we can learn from a simple drop, how we should create our cities. It's enormous. So let's try it again. And what I'm doing now, if you give me this little instrument, no, the other one. Yes, everything is prepared, but be careful with the color. So, okay. Now, if I'm doing this, put my hands on here. No, that was not a good one, but it was. No, okay. It's a little bit different because it's very interesting. Things happen when the proportion is right. The right height, the right speed, and so the proportions of not too fast, not too slow, not too big, not too small are very important. And we can learn from that also that our speed of growing, our speed of density, our speed of expansion needs to be in the right proportion to be healthy. And that's actually very, very interesting in our life, in our personal life, and also in our city planning. There needs a kind of density to make a city alive. If it's too big, then nothing can happen. And it's actually very much on the drop of water you can learn this. So what I will do now, I will try again a drop. And if I get it right, I don't know if it happens again, if I get the right height and the right speed, it's also very much on this experiment also a little bit luck. Then you will see the ring vortex again. Yeah, here is one. Can you see this ring? This ring is suddenly, the drop is getting independent and is shooting in the water and is creating a very, very interesting ring form. Now you see the ring. You see it here. It starts to, yeah, down there, Bettina. Yeah, it's yes. All right. So here's the ring, and I will try to do it again on another side. It's very beautiful forms, very beautiful shaped, and it's just simple a drop falling into a vessel, into a water body. And I will try one more time, then we go to the next experiment. Yeah, here it is one. Yeah, can you see that? And it's actually at least, I would say, down here, 10 centimeters in. Right. Hmm? It is very often hexagon. Very often, these forms. There's a lot of research was done on drops by Schwenk in Hellerschried. He did write a very famous book called The Sensitive Chaos, in German, The Sensible Chaos. And I did work with him quite a lot. He did a lot of interesting things about the inequality of water. He has a special method to show movements. And just to mention this, water is, to understand water really is that we have to be beyond the physical substance of water. Water is following gravity, of course, but it's so full of magic because, for example, what is water showing? Water is always showing us the center of the universe and the zenith. So and it's showing the center of the planet. Because this surface, what you have here, is not flat, it is part of a curve. It is part of the ball, and the ball is our Earth. So when this water and our tea outside and a coffee pot in Europe, they are all connected. The water is connecting all of that. Because they're all describing this planet and the center of the planet. And now when we get to the vortex, it's the same. The vortex is most magic because a vortex is always going to the center of the planet and to the zenith up there, everywhere in the world. So what I would like to do next is I bring some movement now into that. And I need this other instrument here, a little brush. Very good. So let me just try to bring some movement in, and well, I do this here this way. It's very fragile, so I have to hold it. Can we get it clear? Can you see what is happening? You can actually see, when you look carefully, that this vortex, which we have already, is rhythmical movement. It is like a breathing thing, like an organ. It makes this, and then it goes down again. Now what I will do, and I have to give you this, I will put some color in, and we will see what happens. Is it okay now? Yeah, this almost disappeared. It looks like, you know, this is also interesting. It is actually what we see in nature. We see nothing. Yeah, we think, okay, water is water. It's okay, nice, but this is full of structure. It is totally organized, and I will show you this organization inside here with some color. Yeah, you can see it because you're close. Can you see that from a side? Now it's very chaotic, but now it starts to have cylinders. And what I need to do is to put very much light on here. Very much on this one, on the back side, yeah. And it's hard to get it sharp, but, you know, can you try? Now it actually comes, yeah, good. You can see that there is like, in this vortex, now it's good, it comes out. Have a very careful look to it. You see there inside like columns, yeah? They're inside, they look like they're all vertical tubes in it, each in it inside, right? Actually, when you look from the top, you would see it. It's hard to see here, but it is usually not just these columns. It is one almost endless spiral. So we see this spiral, and the spiral, when you look a while, you will see that this spiral is also now dancing. It goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. Now it goes up, and maybe a little while later it will go down again. Now it goes up, and maybe we will see it goes down. Well, I would need the whole thing should be bigger, of course, then it would be more clear. Du musst noch mal ein bisschen schärfer machen. Try the inner part. Yeah. Now it goes down. Warte mal, lass ich mal. Now leave it like this. It's good because then we see the inner structure, right? You see it up here, you see it in the lower part, you see even the colors on the top. And this building is still, the movement is now very slow, but it's still totally organized. When the movement stops, then it's very chaotic. The book called Sensitive Chaos is very right. It is totally sensitive as chaos, and that's why it is so open. Water is the connector between heaven and earth. It is absolutely spiritual, and it's very much also materialistic. It brings these two sides together. And that's why life can exist. Water is really doing this, bringing these two sides of the cosmic element and of the earth together. And when we think about many phenomena on water, water can evaporate, overcome gravity. We find water even very, very far outside in the atmosphere and even further out. And then condensation on little particles, often on salt particles. Water starts to condensate and then comes down as raindrops, crystals of snow where no crystal is equal to the other, or hail, or different forms of gravity of coming down, touching the earth, and infiltrating and going into the earth. So water is a permanent breathing process between heaven and earth on this planet. And it goes into stone, it goes in all materials, it goes through things where we never expect water would go through, but in a very long time it also actually goes through this. And we as humans can only exist because of water is regulating our temperature, water is regulating our metabolic system, our energy system, everything. Yeah? So now, what I'm trying to do as next thing, well, you can test it, you can try. I mean, a lot of people did experiments to the very fine substance of water, what would happen if, also when you have different salts, would these things look different? Emoto, for example, did experiments with crystallization. It's often that we have to be very careful to be too easy with this kind of things, because too easy to make it, to saying, okay, it's so and so, because then we make the mistake, we are getting very much, even very fine, we are getting very materialistic. We are not spiritual. So this question about being spiritual or being very materialistic is a very delicate one. And in water is always a danger that we, also, there's another point, water is completely selfless. It has no egoistic tendency. It is always serving for others. It's open to everything. And if we start to keep water only for us and to make it good for us, it's not good. Water is something which is asking us, humans, to make good water for everyone, for the entire world. So everything we do is never only water for my family, for me, but it actually doesn't work. It's very interesting. I did follow this question a lot of times in my life. Now, what I will do next, I will give a vortex and we will open the bottom part. I do this way. Can you hold? Oh, maybe I can. Hold it like this. Good. So now I need little particles, and I have to open it from the other side. I need a sizzle. I need a little sizzle. Sizzle.
Oh,
Yes.
scissors.
No better than sizzle. Good. Oh yeah, that's good. Now I have to just jump over. Let's do this a little bit over to your side. I have to find the hole. Okay. Now maybe just go down. Maybe the hole is not big enough. Something happens here. Can you see that? Look at this. What happens here? Look. Okay. Now it popped. And now I let it dance. Okay. Okay, there's some water coming out here. Wow, this is really experimental now. Okay, oh, light is gone.
Sorry, it was me because
Put the light back again, and I just try to open the hole a bit more.
Maybe we have put another bucket there.
Yes,
Collect
yes, yes, yes. I don't want to put everything on the water here. But okay, I'll. Yes, good, good, good. Okay. Okay. Doesn't matter. Locked, and we have to. Oh yeah. Open it from this side. This is it. It is very good to learn from this little things that the hole has to be bigger. Okay. And this down again. Almost. Yeah. Now it's outwards. Yeah. I think we have to go right again. Because there's just getting a mess.
Oh my God.
This looks like a great installation because the water goes down here, another water comes down here, there's a bus. Wow, 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 wow.
Oh, there.
Here's a bucket. So it doesn't matter. We let it run out. We let it run. The warning is still existing, and we go to the next experiment.
The bucket is better than the bag.
I think I think these kind of plastic bags here in Auroville, they are all leaking.
that's another bucket.
Thanks.
Okay. We can take that one away. Yeah, I think that's fine. We have a waterfall now. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I just dry it up. We have just to keep the electricity away from this. Good. Yep, that's fine. Full electricity up. Yes, but over here. Over here. That's fine. Yeah, you can leave. You put it away. Yeah. Okay. Next thing. Waterfall. If we have one about humor, that's water is also very much about humor. That's why children love to play in water. Okay, now the next.
Can you take the mic because it's being recorded.
The mic. Okay, I take the mic, and I'm moving to the next experiment. And the next experiment will be, yes, Bettina, thank you. Now I need also the brush I have here. So what I do here is I have one nice little bassin, and it's just filled with a liquid. The liquid is basically water, and I have added some glycerine. glycerine because I want to make it visible. If I would not, it would happen without glycerine, no problem. But you would not see it because water is so fast and so quick that we would not see this phenomena. So I slow it down because glycerine is kind of it's slowing down the movement so that the movement stops, and that's how we can see it. And I put a powder on that, and this is a very fine powder. And this powder basically is. Yeah, is it good? Okay, I put this powder now on in the middle. And actually there is a lot of wind here in this room, but I think it still works. Can you see the powder? Yeah? Is it okay? Clear to see? This powder is from a plant. It's called Bearlap. It's Lycopodium. Is that the English word? Lycopodium? Right. Yeah, so Lycopodium is a little moss, and it's actually when the moss is flowering, it's the seed of this moss. It's yellow. The reason why I put it on is because it has a very strong, it has kind of etheric oils, so it's not sinking in water, it's staying on the surface. And now what I will do, I take the brush, and I will actually pull once through this this thing, just in a straight line. I just make a straight line. So I divide this in two sections behind this, and then it comes together, and that's it. Very simple. Let's see what is happening. And maybe I do it so that everyone can see it. I move over here. Bettina, is this better? Yeah, okay. I start from here. And again, we didn't test it, so I have to see if it works. Isn't that amazing? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 galaxies. And you see they're still moving.
And they are not the same.
They're not the same. They're all different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of freedom in these forms.
Yeah.
So I need some paper, and maybe I'd give you this to hold. And no, I need the other is better. The other one. And Anush, you can do this experiment now. I'll let you do it. Yeah, I need this one. Yeah, that's good.
Tape is better for this.
Yeah, so it's just a. Well, I think often the worst papers are the best. You can hold it. So what I do now is I actually just the experts of next door over this. Oh. I lift it carefully, and so everything is again quiet. So now all is done, and I put this here. Yeah, that's good. I put it just down here. I'll let you do it now. If you move a little bit back, then I'll let Anna do this experiment. And then someone else from here can do it. Yeah. Okay. You have just to, just with the finger a little bit. You can just, yeah, it's good. Keep it high so it's not getting wet. Good. Yeah, very good. And here's the brush. I hold it so you have your free hand. Yeah, just dive in and go through to the bottom. Wow, very good. Yes. Anushri. That's her interpretation of the galaxy. Isn't it beautiful? And we will have different interpretations of galaxies now. And I would just invite maybe a next person to do it. Or then we need, again, one more time this paper. I give you this one.
The expert paper.
But you maybe before we let the final thing do with someone else, could you do 2 stripes here one and here one. Just this, here and here. Just 2 stripes. With this, with the powder. Who has the powder? Okay, there's the powder.
Oh, I do two. I make two.
Yeah, just make 2 lines. And you go in the middle. So now what Anush is doing, Anushri is doing, yeah, do it a bit higher because now, yeah, and yeah. And then you just make 2 lines, yeah? 1 line, and then we do another line, and we'll see what these 2 sides are doing, yeah? Yeah, a little bit closer, yeah, it's good. Yeah, very good, it's fine, it's good. And then we go again one more time with the brush through it. So the brush, and we will see what is happening here. Make it a bit smaller. In the middle. Go in the middle. Yes, just go in the middle through. Yes. Look at this. Yeah, it's actually I can see from the liquid that we would need even a bit more glycerin to make it slower because now it's continued. But what is happening is actually when you look at these forms, you see how a simple impulse, a straight line, very primitive straight line going through water, makes as answer the water is reacting in a very multitask language by bringing 2 spheres, 2 sides together. It's like this side and this side start to talk to each other. They start to interact. They start to make vortexes. They start to overlap. They're never crossing, but they're gliding through this, which is also very, very interesting to see also when you look at the behavior of water, how contrasts can actually come together. We can learn again from water the social issue about balancing 2 opinions, 2 sides of a group. And it's never good to confront like this, but you have to give up and to take in, to give out, to take in and give out. And this is what is happening here, because sometimes this side goes in very strong, sometimes this side is going, sometimes this side is going strong, this side, and they start to make, just in the polarity of these 2 sides, it's getting interesting. It makes this form very interesting. Well, I think we will not go over time, maybe take one more time this away and make one more experiment with any one of you. What about you? Just try to do it, and we just you can actually do this yourself, and I will give you a final idea about a book. We have written one book. The people from Wolfram Schwenk and I, we did a book on water experiments. So if you like in Auroville to have that book, it's quite nice, you know, to use this. Hmm? It's in the library. It's not the sensitive chaos. It's Wasser bewegt is the title. But I have it here. I can show this to you. Okay, it's actually only in German, unfortunately. Maybe someone could translate it for the language lab. Maybe I have it even here. So one more time.
The same?
Ja, just as you like.
Ja, du musst.
Nein, nein.
Du musst.
Ich muss was holen.
Good stream.
Okay. The computer is over there.
We're
Okay.
lacking a bit of powder, but
It's
yeah,
okay.
we'll do
Just try it.
the 2 of them. You ready?
Wow. Wonderful.
Yes. Okay, congratulations. Okay, and this is the book, by the way. here, that's the book. And it had a lot of different water experiments in it. But it's not the experiment in itself. It's actually you to inspire you about fluid thinking, about imagination, and also about meditation. Because you can actually meditate water forms. You don't have to see them, you don't have to draw it. And I did work a lot with meditation for drug addicts, for people who were addicted to morphine and heroin. And if you do this, you can open up their mind for to get out of this very narrow view on the world. And that really opens up. Well, I don't know if we have any more time, but I had some more interesting how to bring it into reality in building architecture. It's a question about timing. Where is our master, our big master? Here he is. What about timing?
I think we need to digest that, honestly.
Okay.
That is just...
What is it?
They want more.
They want more. Okay, we really make it short. We make it short. I think we make it short. So what I do is just I start with some imaginations or some pictures of what we have seen. The ring vortex is actually under certain conditions you find inner structures and inner forms which are really magic, which are very, very interesting. This is the same little ring vortex seen from below, and you see this kind of shapes and kind of forms. And then of course these forms are very much related to forms which you find when you have very early forms of an embryo, of plants. You can see the living world, what some people call the etheric forces in this planet. They are related very much to water forms. Yeah, they need water to express, to incarnate in this planet, on this earth. And of course, they also have this aspect of fading away, which is also life and death. Both aspects are important, and water has not only the life and the birth, it also has this to destroy something, which is also very important because floodings and weeping out a landscape has always been. It's not something we invented only as humans. It gave the opportunity for new plant life and for new animals to arrive and to come. So that's the two sides. Well, I have been working a lot with forms of water, with structures, with fountains, and I would just like to mention some of the points we had. If we look at structures of water, of landscapes where people did not interfere, we find these enormous structures and forms. And actually also here, when we look here in this landscape, we can see everywhere water forms in India, everywhere. We see the flow structures. And we see it in the most remote and most dry areas, like in Australia or in the Central Sahara. We see everywhere water forms. Sometimes hundreds of years, no drop of water, and suddenly a totally new structure which is coming in. There is a big challenge we have today of climate extremes. Just last year, Bettina and I, we opened a new office in Boston. The ocean came as high as it has never been, flooded the coastline. The other extreme, dry and hot, and people more and more are confronted by that. In Europe, we had the extreme dry and hot seasons, so lots of farmers had to kill their cows because they had nothing to feed anymore for the cows. And of course, to have not enough humidity, it also creates bad air. So the whole question about air pollution, which you all know, Mumbai, everyone smokes 2.5 packs of cigarettes every day if you just be outside all day. And it is also that the climate is, and I'm not talking about climate change so much here, but the structure and the pattern of water is changing. For example, we have suddenly a downpour of rain in one area, which is extremely strong, which never has been before so strong, and then 5 miles or 5 kilometers away, there's not even a drop coming down. That's the change. That is the dramatic change. And of course, it creates all kinds of disasters, all kinds of problems. Copenhagen was hit 3 times by that. And I just would like to mention a little bit on that it really gets expensive. Bettina and I, we did work with a very large company, and we made analysis about failures on insurance companies, what insurance companies had to pay in Copenhagen because of flooding, and it is enormous. It is enormous from the expenses. And we did work for Copenhagen, a new concept called the Cloudburst project, when we were saying if we do nothing, the costs go up in the future, even for our generation, but certainly for next generations, immense. If we invest now in a better system, we can cut down the costs. So to do nothing is very expensive. And to do something now and to react in the right way means you save costs. It's also something you should consider here in Auroville. So environmental topics are not a luxury thing or a green thing. It's just a question about being wise and being having that. And it's very often this point, it's not so much only high-tech engineering. It's basic concepts. Can we create a city which can do the homeworks in the city itself? Sucking in water, slowing down, cleaning water, releasing the water slowly, evaporating water, so that we get the entire system, what a natural system can do, in a new way into a city, instead of having just everything out of mind in a pipe out of that. And now I go very quickly through some examples, very dense cities like Portland, Oregon, where we started to work on scales where we collect every drop of rainwater, bring it into a park, filter the water, treat it, recycle the water. Some of the water goes into the ground, and then we get finally clean water out, and we reuse and recycle the water as well. And it can also look beautiful. I mean, technology should always be, in a way, also beautiful and be part of a beautiful city. I think public workshops like we have here should be much more playful with art and with exercises. We do this a lot, to bring really art into the process so that people also use facilities. Like if you create a pocket park where you collect water, it can also look in dry periods good and in wet periods good. So how to make a multifunctional use in a park, and to see that, for example, wildlife comes back, or you can have a glass room outside to learn about environmental topics. So there are many ways of doing this. Maybe finally, one example here in Singapore, we came up with a project called the ABC Water Guidelines for Singapore. And it's a major project now in what many companies do. And I was happy to start this whole project and this movement. What we do, we daylight forgotten streams, these ugly concrete canals we find in India and so many places, which are full of rubbish, full of pollution, and because it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's a kind of way how to behave to water which is respectless. Yeah, and it has many reasons why it is like this. I don't want to blame anyone, but we have to turn it around and we say this is one of our most important elements in the world. And in Singapore, we call it ABC because we said it's active, it's beautiful, and it's clean. ABC. And we should not start always with engineering, with clean, but with our interaction as humans. So our activity towards water, towards the beauty of water.
How does it relate to our experiment?
To experiments, good question. No, I think it has many points, many relationships. Because when I say here what is happening, for example, about mixing, about filtration, and about showing process, also making it clear, making it visible. Yeah, so things are not hidden. It's a process which should be shown in a city. That's one example. I have many others. I just want to. Of course, my introduction was more like an artist, and now I go more like an architect and engineer into the subject. But it's very similar. This the main point. What can we do to collect, to filter, to show it on the surface, to collect water also in reservoirs? And it's basically the question of what priority do we give to that? Can we implement it early on? Can we create instead of ugly canals, open them up, integrate them? And I just show one example: a totally integrated solution in a park which looked before like this and which is now like that, which can actually hold back water, and when we have a monsoon period, the water can actually come up and can flood this whole valley, and when it goes down, actually it is down and children can play. And you see this extreme when it comes up, and this is 2 days later, where a place can be used. I mean, it's just, giving you some ideas about how places can be multifunctional in a way, and how landscape things can happen. We have to discuss this much more, of course. And it's also not only the big scale solutions, it's also the very small scale solutions where it is important that our kids, Singapore is an example where a lot of the children have never seen a little frog or a dragonfly. They only know it from a television. When they touch earth, their parents tell, don't touch earth, don't touch water, it's all dangerous. There's a biophobia, a fear about nature, instead of biophilia, loving the environment. By this project, we changed a lot and we made a big, big impact. And I will stop with this actually last project, and maybe Bettina should we do it tomorrow? Okay, we stop with that. We stop with one example, which is really now in a very high density of a city. That is in Singapore again, where our team did work with Voha Architects, and my studio is now together with Ramble, is a big company from Denmark, from Copenhagen, now working around the world. Bettina and I, we are independent, but we do a lot of work with our old teams. This is a new building block for old people and for young people, and it's also a station, a metro station. So the metro comes out here. There are different basements here. There is also a hawker center. Do you know what that is? It's a food core center in Singapore. It has a medical care center. It has something for active aging and children care. And in this building, we bring very old people and very young people together, because the kindergarten group inspire the old people, and the kids are so fascinated by these very old people. And their research showed that dementia is reduced when they are with very young people together. There's more fun, there's joy, and for young people it's also very important. But beyond that, we also collect the water. We recycle, we harvest it. We have, of course, we could talk more about this maybe in our group. We recycle also here water. We call it new water systems. And we have a whole structure where we built on the building a kind of filter and landscape of vegetation structure, which is also saving a lot of the water. And that's quite substantial. So there's a lot of things can be done, and the vegetation goes over this building. These are the two blocks, and interesting is now the inside and outside. Singapore has, of course, a very, very very hot and humid climate, and we can open and close it. And we have inside here, we have a medicine care station with lots of doctors. And in the morning we open it, and in the evening we open it. During daytime we close it. And the temperature inside here is interesting because of the evaporation of water and of the plants, it is much cooler, and we have fresh and good air. And the psychological aspect, and I end with this, is that if people look and see green, we know that the regeneration for people, when people are ill, for example, in Singapore, in hospitals, people have 15% earlier regeneration than others who are in a gray environment. People feel less pain when they go to the dentist, when they are in this surrounding. And the immune system is much better if you have a green environment than if you are in a gray environment, which comes back to Fred's point about a healthy city. So I think we leave it by that. Otherwise we go too much over time. And I hope we could open up and inspire you on how important the water story is beyond the water. Thank you.